All right, ready to go, guys? This is the time and place for the Huron City Commission meeting on Monday, January 11th, 2021 at 5:30. Roll call, please.
Smith.
Here.
Close.
Here.
Bragg.
Here.
Robish.
Present.
Harrington.
Here. Join me in a pledge of allegiance, please. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Public forum. Public comments may be sent to our live meeting broadcast on the city's YouTube channel. The link is listed on the city's website at HuronSD.com/city government. In order to use the YouTube chat feature, please create an account with your YouTube and Gmail or using your existing accounts. Please state your name and address for the record. Public forum is limited to a maximum of 3 minutes per person. We have our HR Director, Nathan Hofer, sitting on our computer, so if you use YouTube channel to ask a question, he will ask us to stop the meeting and try to answer your question for you. With that, does anybody on the commission have anything they want to add to public forum tonight? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to agenda approval. We do have a couple amended items on our agenda tonight. We're going to amend 4.8. We're going to put that on there, and it's a consumption request. And that request is from. I'll wait till we announce that when we get to 4.8. 8.4 is another one we're going to amend, and that's going to be for us to talk about the year-end fund transfers for the city of Huron. Our city financial director will have that information at that time. That's 8.4. So with that, I would request a motion to approve.
Motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Commissioner Bragg with a motion to approve. Need a second? Second from Commissioner Clute. Roll call, please.
Smith.
Aye.
Close.
Aye.
Bragg.
Aye.
Robish.
Aye.
Harrington.
Aye. Number 4, consent agenda. Matters appearing on the consent agenda are expected to be non-controversial and will be acted upon by the Commission at one time without discussion unless a member of the Commission requests an opportunity to address any given item. Items removed from the consent agenda will be discussed at the beginning of the formal items. I'm going 4.1. Special meeting minutes, December 31st, 2020. 4.2, regular meetings minutes of January 4th, 2021. 4.3, fill quotes for city departments. 4.4, appoint Dan Campbell to the Historic Preservation Board for the remainder of the term vacated by Alan Sager. 4.5, alcoholic beverage consumption in public area, Huron Volunteer Fire Department, for quarterly meetings at the North Fire Station. 4.6, personnel, temporary promotion of Dennis Wagon-Key to fill circulation desk assistant at the library. Number 2 on personnel is regular status of Alex Gigoff, technological assistant library director for the completion of the probationary period. Right. Number 3, resignation of Kobe Vinegar from Splash Central management position. And number 4, advertising post for the Central Park manager's position. 4.7 is payment of the bills. 4.8 is a consumption request from Alma Reyes address 954 Iowa Avenue Southwest, Huron. Event date is January 23rd, 2021. Duration 4 p.m. to 1 p.m. Norby Exhibit Hall. So with that, I would ask for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Move to approve consent.
Commissioner Smith, move to approve. Need a second?
Second.
Commissioner Robish with a second. Roll call vote, please.
Smith.
Aye.
Clute.
Aye.
Wright.
Aye.
Robish.
Aye.
Mayor Harrington.
Aye. Ordinance and resolutions. First reading of the ordinance for supplemental appropriations. Finance manager Pauline Carey is going to take that over.
Yep. This is our supplemental appropriation for the 2020 budget. Pretty straightforward. Actually, it's less, about half is what we had to supplement at the year end last year. You can see human resources, because it was not a department, excuse me, when we did the budget. But became a department, we have to supplement that new department. Fire, we had some repairs and maintenance that was, and also some grants. We got the big grant for the bottles and air tanks. It's an automatic supplement, but we always put it in our annual appropriation supplement. Inspection salaries, when we budgeted in 2019 for 2020, we still had our inspections officer in the police department. Now again, it is in the inspections department. Street repair and snow removal. Licking Riverfront was a small amount. There was some engineering on the Third Street Dam that we did not have in the budget. We have money in reserves, but nothing in the budget. Parks and Rec utilities, I'm thinking that has to do with water. On the soccer fields, softball.
Fields, yeah.
Yeah, and the softball improvements with some oil and stuff that they use to, that parking lot at Coonharder. Development fund just overspent what they had projected to spend. They had the money in reserves to cover that. The event center, it's $10,000 short, but we actually have $20,000 coming from the endowment fund for improvements out there, so that will help with the general fund transfer, which you'll see a little bit later. Capital projects fund, we had transferred money at the beginning of the year to this fund. It's the streets of Southtown. We did not budget anything in the actual fund, so this is supplementing that. And then the golf fund, kind of good news and bad news. We overspent the budgets, but a lot of it was based on what we had for, we had more sales and a different contract. So with that, I ask for approval of the first reading, and the second reading will be on the 25th of January.
So the motion for the
Move approval.
move approval by Commissioner Clute. Need a second on this?
Second.
Second by. Okay. Any discussion on this? Any more questions? Ryan, do you have any questions?
No.
Oh. Any other question? Anybody got any questions on this? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Smith.
Aye.
Clute.
Aye.
Bragg.
Aye.
Robish.
Aye.
Mayor Harrington.
Aye. Departmental items, 8.1, human resource, Nathan Hooper is going to speak on 8.1.
Okay, so we were, after the first of the year, unfortunately a little bit reactive on updating our COVID policy, but we did get a little committee together, and me and the mayor and Pauline and the city attorney, Barry, sat down to kind of see what we think would best fit our needs for an update on here. And did you guys have a chance to review our red line copy that was in the packet? Essentially what we did is we did some rearranging and some changing of the words, so most of the same information is in there, it's just a little bit more clarified. The biggest thing two biggest things that we did is we kind of labeled the different exposures and close contacts and the positive tests and what rules we're going to follow as far as the city. And we did incidental exposure, which is brief encounter with your neighbor or pastor, church, or whatever, and you find out that they're positive at a later date. We're just going to, return to work immediately and monitor your symptoms if it was just that short of a brief contact. Extended exposure was what we did is, if you went and visited someone's home or another communal setting, out to dinner for a few hours or whatever, and you're in the actual contact with that person for an extended period of time, we're going to advise people to stay home for 3 days for 72 hours symptom-free. What we decided on a close contact is if basically somebody in an employee's household tests positive, somebody you're around all the time for extended days on end, we decided to go with what the CDC says on that one, is 7 consecutive days, and we request you take a test on the 5th day to get the 2 days response time for a negative test before you can return to work. A positive test, the employee's positive test, they advise that they stay home for 14 days. I did also put in there that medical documentation may be required to receive leave. So when they call me with their contact and we classify them, I'm going to request that everybody get me documentation. Like I said, I'm not making it necessarily a requirement, but I'm going to ask everybody so that we can have it in their file. Normally people have no problem, really good at getting it to me. We did put in there an extension. If you are sent home by the city because of an exposure or a positive test, the city will pay your wages for up to 10 calendar days. This policy will be effective until the end of February. So it's an extension of what the federal government was doing as far as a reimbursement, but it was in here in the contract before that we knew we were getting reimbursed for it. So I left it in there, thinking that it was the intent of the commission to, put the financial welfare of our employees first, even if we're not planning on getting reimbursed for it. We put it through the end of February because with the new administration coming in, it is likely that there will be extended reimbursement money. We don't know that at this point in time either, but that's pretty much the main changes. I did put in here that in some departments there will be opportunities to work in isolation. In some situations, employees may be able to return to work while positive or after being exposed if considered essential or circumstances allow it. These conditions must be approved by their department head and the HR manager. So we did one of these with an employee out at the solid waste department, that they had their own bathroom, own truck, they didn't have to be in contact with anybody. Dale was running short. This guy didn't feel bad, but he wanted to come back to work. So with the assumption of him sanitizing his vehicles and areas that he was in and not being in contact with anybody, we allowed him to come back to work. So I put that in there. It was approved by me and their department head to come back to work, and we didn't have any problems with it. So if there's any questions, that's what I got.
We better have a motion before we do our questions. I have a motion to approve this report.
Move to approve the update.
Move to approve the update by Commissioner Smith. Need a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Bragg. Now we can have discussion. Doug?
Just a question, Nathan. Obviously, there's some medical guidance here. Did you take that from the CDC, or was the task force involved in these
It was from
different timeframes?
From our CDC guidelines that we were advised to follow and that I've been keeping up with.
Okay, so
throughout
you're
the-
comfortable with that?
Yes.
That's just all.
Yeah, I'm comfortable
Make
with
sure.
what we've come up here with the different classifications, and if they get sick and they're symptomatic, we'll send them home. I mean, like I said, it's not a cut and dry thing. If after 3 days they get a cough or fever and get tested positive, then it's a different story. But I am comfortable with our parameters. Yes.
Any other questions for Nathan? I'm sure it's a living document, because
Yes.
we will be moving back and forth at different times, and whether that will be, whether CDC changes some of their policies, or whether we finally do get some reimbursement from the federal government for people taking time off, so.
Yeah, if we run into another snag, I mean, like I said, we can always come back and review it at any time. And if it's that urgent, we can call a special Zoom meeting or whatever to get it run through. But I think this will get us through for sure February, to see how things will settle down. And then, of course, we'll revisit it at the, whatever the second meeting in February is, so that we can be a little bit more proactive and not quite so much reactive with it. See if we're still comfortable with where we sit before it expires.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Need a roll call vote on this, please.
Smith.
Aye.
Clute.
Aye.
Wright.
Aye.
Colish. Mayor Harrington.
Aye. 8.2, I will take, it's an announcement, city offices will be closed, and there will not be city commission meeting on Monday, January 18th, in observation of the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday. 8.3, I think Commissioner Clute has an announcement for us.
Also, your Mayor, the Solid Waste Department rubble site will be closed on Martin Luther King Day, January 18th on Monday. Therefore, Monday's garbage and recycling will be collected on Wednesday, January the 20th. So please have your containers out Tuesday evening, that's January 19th, as the trucks will not be rerouted. Any questions, you can call 353-8542.
Thank you. 8.4,
Fund transfers.
yeah.
This is what we added on. I did put a packet on your, looks like this one.
Yep.
So again, nothing too out of the ordinary here. One thing, I can go through them. The detail of them is on the second page if you actually want to see what they were. But the general fund, the budgeted transfers in, we're 2.674 million. We're transferring in 2.7. Transfers out, the budget was 2,064,000. Transferring out 1,088,500. Parks and Rec, we budgeted 1,138,720 to transfer in. We are actually transferring 1,138,891. Central Park, budgeted transfer in 344, 232. Obviously, we weren't open. It's a little higher than I expected, but we did have part-timers working. Transfer out of the Bed, Board, and Booze goes to marketing of Huron Community Campus and operations for the event center. The other expenditures are directly out of the fund. The community campus, the budget was 148. We're actually transferring in 136. Dispatch, the budgeted transfers 274. We're actually budgeting 293. Those monies are actually coming from the COVID funds. So far, we have received for dispatch salaries $330,000 from COVID. Not everything is approved yet, but those monies that we have received, I'm using those to transfer, and it saves the general fund transfer. 270, you can see we budgeted 3.5 million. We're at 3.573, and that obviously says, during the year, we heard from Brett that some of our projects were lower. We did have some 2019 that finished in 2020, but also some smaller things that came up throughout the year that we come and ask you to approve to use second penny. That's why it would be a little bit higher. The sewer transfer out is based on our grant we received in 2018 for the sewer project and the monies that we had used for another project. So that's transferring back to the general fund. The airport AIP, 5% match on the EIP projects. We did budget 358, it's 558,000. We spent more in projects than we had projected for the AIP. Golf course, budget transfers 202, 110. That's good news there. That means we actually made a lot of money on our own because the transfer was lower. because I want to say, I look here, 58,000 of that 110 is second penny money, so only $52,261 is general fund dollars. And then the CARES is the 732 fund, which is the 284 going to dispatch. So at this point, there will be other transfers coming because what's happening with the COVID funds, which is your other sheet. On the second page, you can see where I have not drained a few of those. Those are not approved yet. Everything is submitted up to this point, 3.124 million, but they are not approved by the auditors. So I am not really wanting to transfer those and figure that all out until I have everything approved. And we also have, through the end of December 31st payroll, to still submit for police, fire, dispatch, and a few payments and task force salaries. I can only ask for salaries after January, so that's all we have left. But as soon as I get all these things approved, I'll have those sheets again that show you exactly where it goes, what it was spent on, and where in the funds it goes. So, any questions?
Mayor,
We should get a motion first to approve, and we'll do discussion. Have a motion to approve this.
Move to approve.
Commissioner Smith moved to approve, second by Commissioner Robish. Okay, now discussion, go, Commissioner Smith.
The December 23rd cost incurred, has that not been submitted yet, or was that denied?
So all of this has been submitted. Everything here on these sheets that I've given you all here, anything in the orange has been submitted. The green is approved, and over on to move to the other side is we've received the funds. So the cost incurred, that was the faucets, toilets, the flushless toilets and sinks that we had done. There was a section when we did here on community campus, there was a repair to a urinal that they would not pay for. So then I had to resubmit that one, and they still, at this time, have not approved it.
So the 44,034.29, we don't know at this point if it's been approved or denied?
Correct, it's
Okay.
submitted.
Submitted, thank you.
Any other questions? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.